My knees fall weak, my heart doth swoon. I worship the moon. Through the streets, back to me, falling eyes, I can't see all night long, but not too soon. I worship the moon. I worship the moon. My knees fall weak, my heart doth swoon. I worship the moon.
Hello, welcome to the Gear Sphere. Welcome to the Gear Sphere. My name is Geartooth Red Jefferson. This is Thoughts on Bots. Thoughts on Bots. It's one of the only BattleBots review shows, and you should stick with me. Stick with me. I have a lot of action to bring. I have a lot of hot takes. Sound off in the chat if you got questions or want to scream something about today's show. We had a great show today. We had a great BattleBots program. Even though my heart was broken a little bit, even though there's some sad things, we don't have to talk about those just yet. But I feel like we did pretty good. I felt pretty positive about this. Tell me what you think. This is Thoughts on Bots. Make sure to call the number if you want to jump in. By the way, I'm trying to make sure that this number is working during the show. So if you call, it might work, it might not. 201-574-7222. And if this isn't during showtime, you should still call that number. Leave me a fun voicemail. Or leave Loser Leaves Wrestling. That's the headquartered company. And also I have a lot of fun things here. As you can see, I'm a fireman right then. There was some fire today. But I have a great idea. How about we get started with the program? Let's start talking about the show. We got the first one up top. We have Gruff versus Cobalt. Gruff versus Cobalt. Let me enlarge my screen here so I can really start playing with these guys here. All right, Gruff versus Cobalt. First, let's talk about Gruff. We got Gruff here. Gruff, run by Sam McInnes. It's a grappler, lifter, torch bot. Really indestructible. Has a hard time breaking this one. And it's got a really intense flamethrower. It's 1-1 this season. I like this bot, and I was feeling confident with this bot. It did very well last year. This year it's had a little bit of a rocky start. It lost to Hydra, which was to be expected, and it beat someone else. I already forgot who. But they are not starting off too hot. They're 1-1, as I mentioned. They're going up against Cobalt. Now, Cobalt here, now it's run by John Mladnick of the Gigabyte people. It's this vertical nasty looking vertical disc spinner. And it's 1-1 as well. We had the battle of 1-1s here. I really like Cobalt. Honestly, I really think Cobalt is a heavy hitter, big contender. I think they had a rough match on the get-go. The driver wasn't necessarily used to driving such an aggressive machine, but they started picking up, and now he's getting used to it. He's starting to have some fun. He split Ghost Raptor in half. He split them right in two. Well, let's start talking about the match. Cobalt in this match, relentless, constantly getting underneath, popping them, big hits, back to back to back throughout the entire start of the show. Big hits, super doop, as you can see here, like these big hits. That's what's happening. And what they do is they get underneath and they hit the propane tank on Gruff, causes an explosion. Pooh. And a little fire. There. Gruff is, well, it wasn't a little fire, it was a pretty big fire. Gruff is now on fire, stops moving, and we get the KO. I like Cobalt. Cobalt won here, and it was a pretty decisive little win. I think if Cobalt continues to drive like this, we've got someone that could really go to do things moving forward. I could see them being contenders with Endgame. They're very durable. They're very durable. Solidly built bot. Let me know what you think about that. And I have no drop frames. What do you think of that? Tell me if you could hear me. That's going to be a big thing throughout this. Let me know if you like this music. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Really get the ambiance going in here. Let's see how that sounds. Let me see how that freaking sounds. Be a big thing throughout this. Let me know if you like this music. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Really get the ambiance. Okay, I like it. Sorry, I didn't mean to just stop talking in the middle of that thing. But want to let this show's a work in progress. We've got a lot of things moving, a lot of moving parts. I hope you're enjoying the music. But we got Cobalt here winning, and let's see what I did in the... Oh, Jesus. Get the hell out of the way. I zoomed out too much. You can't show my spoilers. Gruff versus Cobalt. I had Cobalt winning. Look at me, already hitting off. I was talking to some people this weekend about gambling, about BattleBots gambling. If anyone knows any ways to gamble on these bots, I'm doubting that it's possible because they do tape these things. Secrets do get let out, but tell me what you think about BattleBots gambling. I'd love to get in on this. Moving forward, next we get Duck versus Riptide. Dear Sweet Duck versus Riptide. Here we got Duck, run by Hal Rucker. Duck is what is Duck? An indestructible driving machine. It's got a little wedge up front. And it was one of my favorite bots past several seasons. Things have changed. Not because I think Duck is less endearing or it's not as... Well, we'll talk about it in the match. They're going up against Riptide here. Riptide, they were 1-1 going into this. They got a big win over Huge. And they're this big egg beater spinner. Big egg beater spinner run by Ethan Kurtz. Young team, and they got a real big win against a legend like Huge, and Duck is a legend. I'm sorry. Duck is a legend, and it deserves our respect. This is how the match goes. Duck actually has an attachment on the back, like a wedge attachment, and so it starts the match backwards, trying to go into Riptide here, and it was starting to get some like good little pops going on it because it kept hitting this very specially designed wedge to get these interactions with Riptide here. But then eventually Riptide flips him upside down. So what happens when you flip Duck upside down with that wedge attachment? Now the wedge attachment doesn't work. So we have to flip vertically. Now that doesn't work. And so they just keep getting hit after hit, smashing up Duck, smashing up its poor little beak, deterring away at this poor frickin' bot. Starts smoking. Duck starts smoking. Duck loses a wheel, which is to be expected with Duck. Duck loses a wheel, goes off to the side. But Duck starts smoking. We have Smoky Duck, smoking Duck. And Duck they get KO'd. Stops moving. Duck stops moving. This isn't the Duck I remember. I love Duck. I love Hal Rucker. I think that Duck, the first couple seasons it was on, with that big metal wedge up front that was like kind of like a I don't know, like a gate, like a little open and flapping closed gate. It was great. I appreciate the duck noises this new Duck has. I appreciate them. But boy howdy, man, it's just not as durable as it used to be. It doesn't drive as much. He sacrificed a drive motor so he could have that wedge on the back. What do y'all think of that? You tell me what you think of that. Maybe the music's too loud. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I have no idea of telling. I have no idea. You're going to have to let me know. But we do get Riptide with the victory here. Solid bot. The bot does a really good job. It cannot be inverted, as we learned their last match. But they are well put together, and it's a powerful hit. And as you can see, I wasn't expecting much. Oh, I thought Duck was going to win. What's wrong with me? How did I think Duck was going to win? I was hopeful. I thought Duck was going to drive right in and wedge that beak right into the frickin' egg beater drum and maybe cause it to stir up something. I don't know. It's just very sad. Very sad because this was my bot. But we got Riptide moving on, and Riptide's looking good. They're now 2-1. Let's see if they can move forward. And I'm not mad at them. For any of you that were wondering, I'm not mad at Riptide. I think they did the job that they're supposed to do. Oh, man. Oh, burp. I won't burp into the mic. All right. Let's move on. Can't be sad forever. We got Valkyrie versus Pardon My French. Valkyrie versus Pardon My French. Here, let's look at Valkyrie for a little bit. Valkyrie. We got a run by Leanne Cushing. It's a horizontal disc spinner. Won Most Destructive last year. It's had a little bit of a slow start. It's 1-1. They were kind of like I wouldn't say a favorite last year, but they were definitely one of the top contending bots last year in terms of their record. They're facing Pardon My French. Pardon My French here, which I hate the name. Absolutely hate the name. They're a Canadian team, French-Canadian team, run by Philippe Voyer. You heard that? Philippe Voyer, it's a big old drum spinner. Big 80-pound drum spinner right there. Supposed to do a lot of damage. They'd come out a rough time in their non-televised fight. I think it was against Claw Viper, but it was not very successful. Let's see how this match does. Big collision right in the beginning. It goes right towards each other, get a big hit, pop. They both separate. But what happens when Valkyrie gets hit versus when Pardon My French gets hit? Valkyrie just starts spinning up again. Pardon My French doesn't know what the hell to do. So it starts moving around the box with no drum spinner. Drum spinner is no longer working. And here comes Valkyrie. And gets right underneath. Starts shredding up those tires, as you can see here from the illustration. Just shredding up those tires. And until Pardon My French can no longer move. We got our winner, Valkyrie. Valkyrie looking better. I think it got its loss. Who did they lose to? I forget. See, this is what happens. I think they lost to someone on this show. I think it might have been... We'll talk about it later. Oh, it was SUBZERO. We'll talk about it later. But yes, Valkyrie's looking good. We're feeling good about Valkyrie. I don't see Valkyrie going deep into the tournament, but definitely in the round of 32. And they deserve it. Maybe they could pull off some surprise wins, but not one of my favorites going in. I'm really liking, as we described before, Cobalt. Cobalt is looking really good. Next up on the docket, we can't we have to keep it moving. We have to keep the game moving here. Lockjaw versus BLIP. Lockjaw, run by legendary Donald Hudson. Now here's a legend that's having a rough time. And not only Duck is having the rough time here, so is Lockjaw, Donald Hudson. It's a vertical disc spinner, and they've been around for several seasons. And actually, I was looking at some stats, and they've had a progressively better year each year since this iteration of the robot was made. And so I was feeling good about Lockjaw being in this tournament. Ooh, we have Certified Wrestling Podcast here. Yo! Hey, Certified Wrestling Podcast. We're talking about bots. You have any bot thoughts? And you did, Certified Podcast, you did call that Ring of Honor was going to be purchased by Tony Khan. I mentioned you on the podcast this week. I mentioned that you would do it. Tell me your thoughts on BattleBots. We need to keep this staying on BattleBots. We do talk wrestling on several other podcasts. Thank you so much, Certified Wrestling Podcast. We love you. But they're going up against BLIP here. Good old BLIP. BLIP is this flipper, got a catapult pulley system in there. And they've been doing really well. Run by Aaron Hill. It's this little launcher. They're 2-0. This rookie bot, run by the people that make Tantrum. Very durable bot. They're going up against each other, and let's see how this match goes. Lockjaw here dances around for a little bit, trying to find its opening here. And BLIP gets these little baby flips in. Boop. Little baby flip in. But that was enough to keep it on its side. What happened was, let's see if I could get this animation going. Road to 90. Gets it on side, and it's driving on side because of the gyroscopic, excuse the fire truck. And then the weapon hits the ground. Explosion of flame. That's what we're talking about. Big old fireball starts inside of poor old Lockjaw. And then we get, let me try to transform it back. Reset transform. Uh-oh. I don't know how I did that. Let's see if we could modify, transform, rotate. There we go. And now Donald Hudson is struggling here. They dance around for a while. Blip gets a few more flips in. Bloop. What? Bloop. And another flip. Bloop. And LJ, the mini-bot, actually gets underneath. They have a mini-bot for this one called Screwjob. Kind of hate the name, but whatever. But they get underneath Blip for a second there. And Blip starts smoking. And they keep it in the corner. So Donald Hudson did have something of a comeback. But it wasn't enough. They go to the judge's decision, and Blip gets the victory. Blip is doing pretty good so far. They definitely had a good showing right now. So, yeah, we're excited for Blip. They're 3-0. Are they going to beat Endgame? Probably not. Probably not going to beat Endgame. Probably not going to beat some of those other top-tier bots. But I'm excited about to see where it goes. We have Certified Wrestling Podcast here. HBO Max will be streaming service NJPW TNA Dixie tapes. Very interesting, Certified Wrestling Podcast. Cody behind Honor, No More, and Bullet Club. What does that mean, Certified Wrestling Podcast? We're going to have to talk about this on the Weekly Wrestle. And Certified Wrestling Podcast is bye now. Bless you. Bless you for joining us. Thank you. But we have to keep on going because we have Blip going on, moving on. 3-0, one of the best, the winningest teams this season. So we'll see where it goes. Next up, we have Minotaur versus Deep Six. Minotaur versus Deep Six. We got Minotaur here. Dear sweet Minotaur. Loving my Minotaur here. Run by Marco Magliero, but driven, one of the greatest drivers they got here. I forget his name, Danny. I think it's Danny. But this big old drum spinner. They're 1-1 going into this, and they had their loss against Sawblaze was freak to me. Like, they got a really good lucky hit in the middle in the beginning of the fight last time. And so I'm not going to chalk it up to too much. They're going up against Deep Six. Now, this picture is not doing it justice. It's like a 6-foot tall blade. It's enormous, it's heavy, it's dangerous, and scary. It's destroyed the battle box before, and everyone's nervous about it. So we have this match here. And so they go up. Minotaur, like this, they're trying to get theirs. Deep Six is trying to get theirs to spin up. Minotaur comes in, tries to get right underneath, tries to go weapon to weapon, but it's not able to do it. But Deep Six backs up and hits the box. Hits the box, and it flips up, flips around. Let's get a flip going here. Flips up and gets launched into the side. And they're like, hit us. Minotaur goes up and tries to hit it, but it just ends up breaking off some shit. There's no fixing this. Deep Six is out. And Minotaur gets the quick count-out victory. Minotaur gets the KO, and we're very happy about this. I love Minotaur. I want Minotaur to go far. I want Minotaur to avenge their loss from Sawblaze. I want them to beat the shit out of Endgame, right? That's what we want, and we're excited about it too. Let us know what you think. But yeah, we're gonna find out more, and we're gonna keep you posted as things move on. I hope that I'm not being too loud. Y'all are gonna have to tell me. But Minotaur's moving on. They are now 2-1. 2-1. Not a bad. They're not going to have a bad seed. It's not going to be the best one, though. But let's see. We're moving on to their next match. SUBZERO versus HIJINX. Versus HIJINX. That's my old-timey voice. SUBZERO here. Pneumatic flipper bot run by Logan Davis. They're 0-2 this year. But they've been around forever, and they put on some fun matches. Well, they do. They take a beating. They keep going. They drive hard. They drive well enough. They get some flips in. They're exciting. And they got a nice little victory against Valkyrie last year, having a rough this season. And that's the little mini bot, the drone Spitfire. They're going up against HIJINX. And HIJINX, I slept on. I'll be honest with you. I slept on HIJINX when I first, last year they debuted. And honestly, they were rough. They had some rough initial fights. They maybe had a couple wins against bots that weren't really great wins per se, but I slept on them this year. But they're having some good success. Run by Jen Herkenroder, a horizontal bar spinner. They're 1-1 going into this. Let's see how this pans out. So as soon as the match starts, SUBZERO bum rushes HIJINX, just rushes in, tries to block up that spinner from speeding up, keeps doing it. But what happens is they try to get these flips underneath, but the flipper gets stuck. Flipper gets stuck open, as you can see here. The flipper is stuck, as you can see. And it's going to be like that. And that just leaves it open for HIJINX to get these. Pow, pow, pow. Pow, pow, pow. Big hits. Nice little hits. Ripping off the wedge. Smashing up the wheel guards, and it really causing a mess. Then eventually, this poor bot starts coughing up smoke. Let's get a cough up smoke thing. Rotate. Yeah, we go. See, you like that? Coughing up smoke. And it truly was. And we get HIJINX with the victory. I'm liking HIJINX more and more. I don't see them as a really great functioning bot. I don't see them as going very far because of their design. They're not very fast, not very agile. They have some of the risks of a full body spinner, but not the impact. So the risks being that if you're up against the wall, you're in danger zone because your blade's going to hit into it, could potentially break it. But it's also just not as big of a impact as you would potentially get from a full body spinner. But I'm liking the way they're doing it this time. I'm liking the way they're doing it this year. And let's look at this. I forgot to look at all of my predictions. Let's see where it was at. I had Valkyrie winning, of course. I had Lockjaw winning against BLIP. What a mistake. What a mistake I made. And let's see where I was. MINOTAUR, of course. And where was I with SUBZERO? I had SUBZERO beating HIJINX. What fool I was. What a fool I was. But we do have our winner, and it is HIJINX. Bless them. And now we're moving on to the main event. We're moving on to the main event, friends. Very happy to have you here. This is Skorpios versus Yeti. And this was the fight of the night. Great fight. Everyone should go out of your way to see this fight if you haven't already. If you haven't already, I don't know why you're watching this. Or maybe maybe this is how you catch up with your BattleBots stuff. Maybe, let me know. So Skorpios here, they got this hammer saw run by the Littles, Zach and I forget her name, but she's a very cute couple. The Littles, very sweet, very funny, and I want them to go far. And they got this little hammer saw here, and he's a great driver, Zach. They're running Skorpios. It was 1-1 going in, 1-1 going in, and going up against another 1-on-1. And they're both kind of mirror each other in terms of success, I feel. Let me see if I can actually grab Yeti here. Yeti, this is a big old drum spinner. They've totally revamped this year. It's run by Greg Gibson, and Christian Carlberg has joined the team. They completely revamped it. Now you could control the speed of the drum. It's got this new casing. It's more efficient, a little lighter, a little smaller, but I was worried. The first match out when they fought Mad Catter, rough showing. But since they had a great match last time, and then they had this match, they're going up against each other, both kind of mirroring each other in terms of careers. They both kind of started around the same time, 2015, 2016, and both just got these followings immediately. Let's see how this fight progressed. So yeah, they go jabs back and forth, just bumping into each other. Now the thing is, Yeti keeps getting underneath. Skorpios. But what Skorpios keeps doing, and getting these pops underneath, popping it up and falling it back down. But Skorpios is using that hammer saw and hitting strategic parts of this bot. Hit a belt off, hit the tires. So their tires are starting to be shred, as you can see. Tires starting to shred up a little bit, and eventually the weapon breaks. But they get some big hits back and forth. This goes the entire 3 minutes. At one point, Yeti gets this big pop and hits them right into the screws. Hits Skorpios right into the screws. Let's get a little flip action because we know you love it so much. Right into the screws, but they weasel out of it. Good for them. I'm not trying to say weasel in a negative. But then they keep going, and then with Yeti's drum spinner broken, they just kind of circle and push at each other as the bout comes to a close. It goes to the judge's decision, and it's ruled in favor of Yeti. Yeti gets the win here, friends. Yeti gets the win, and which I'm happy for, because Yeti, rough start to the season, but boy, I've always loved Yeti. I love the aggressive style, I love the driving, and I'm kind of starting to be won over by the new bot design. Even though I do like the old bot design, because it was so simple and like a hammer. It was shaped like a hammer. But now they're starting to win me over, and I'm liking these forks. These forks truly get underneath people. And with Skorpios, which has a very good wedge, these got right underneath Scorpio. No problem. So yeah, we're very excited about this. Very excited about the progress that's been happening. Round of 32 is right around the corner. And it doesn't look like Duck's going to be in it, unfortunately. I know. We don't have to get upset. We don't have to be mad. We just have to understand. We thank you all. Oh, no, by the way, I had Yeti winning. I did have Yeti winning, as you can see here. I did a really good job Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. This is, let me go back to the original screen here so we can have some fun. Thoughts on Bots. This is Thoughts on Bots with Gear Tooth, Red Jefferson. Make sure to call the number. Let's see if anyone called. Did anyone call? Yeah, they did people call. Hell yeah. I forgot to answer. Sorry. But right here, thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure this episode. As you can see, I'm having a lot of fun. I can't do this properly. But thank you all so much. Have a great one. My name is Gear Tooth Red Jefferson. Thoughts on Bots. Make sure to check us out next week for more Thoughts on Bots action. And also check out Loser Lose Wrestling on Instagram, YouTube. We only talk about fun sports like BattleBots and wrestling. So we always have a lot of fun. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.
Through the streets, back to me, falling eyes.